Members and friends of Knox, I am Reverend Ken McQuarrie, the minister of Knox Presbyterian Church. Thank you for your warm support and involvement in the life of our congregation, and for taking part in our annual meeting. And thank you to our committee members and conveners for the important work that you do in helping us to share our faith and witness to the gift of God that we have in Jesus. This year has been one of struggle, and yet we find God faithful. The Apostle Paul once reflected upon the struggles that he was facing, and he wrote these words, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair." He goes on to share about how we are like fragile clay jars, holding the treasures of the light of God. In some ways, it is the very fragility of these vessels that allows God's light to shine through. And so, know that God's strength is sufficient, even in struggle, even when we face weakness. In the time ahead today, you will be hearing the verbal reports of our committee conveners and representatives. If you have any questions after reading through the reports and listening to these presentations, please contact the appropriate convener, an elder, or me, so that we might discuss and bring greater clarity. Our annual meeting will be held via Zoom technology on February 21st at 11:30 in the morning. At that meeting, we will essentially be just considering the motions that have been shared via the meeting agenda. If you are unable to join us for that meeting, you are welcome to phone an elder to share your vote on each of the proposed motions. This will be a different kind of annual meeting, but we are getting used to different, aren't we? We pray for and look forward to the healing of creation and the recovery of humanity. We will continue to keep you informed of decisions of session as we continue to navigate the restrictions and reality of our time. My friends, may you be blessed as you hear these reflections upon the year past and plans and preparations for the year to come. May you be blessed this day and always.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diana James, the Clerk of Session here at Knox. The session report is printed and presented for your interest and information. It will be included in the package that you have received. One of the highlights of the year 2020 was a very exciting time for us as a result of the arrival of Reverend Ken McQuarrie. You will read of the many accomplishments and dreams that will be revealed in the printed reports before you. I think that you will all agree that Ken's arrival is the highlight of 2020. Your presence has inspired everyone, Reverend McQuarrie. We sense the feeling of excitement in the Knox family as we seek to know what God has in store for us with your leadership. We thank you for taking the time to get to know us through your visiting schedule, and we very much appreciate the many additional hours that you give so generously to all of us. My personal thanks go out to all of our session members for their perseverance as we face the many challenges of change with a generosity of spirit. I move and ask that Peggy Boyle second this report as printed and circulated.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Myrna Pullen, and I'm convener of the Worship Committee for Knox. The first few weeks of 2020, we were enjoying visiting ministers while the search committee was still looking for our new minister. Finally, on March the 1st, Reverend Ken McQuarrie preached for the call and was subsequently hired as our new minister. We would have welcomed him on May the 1st, but due to pandemic restrictions on the gatherings that were put in place, regular Knox services were closed and not to be reopened again until Thanksgiving Sunday. During this time, Reverend Ken started doing online services, which continued for the remainder of the year. From Thanksgiving to Christmas, Knox was open again for services, but with several limitations. Fortunately, our organist Ken Hutton and several choir members, and in particular Andrew Carruthers, were able to provide music each week, which has been much appreciated for those who are able. We can still enjoy a Knox Church service. The Festival of Carols was also held and enjoyed by all. Thank you to everyone who, through modern technology, has allowed the church and congregation to keep in touch with each other. And I would like to say from the worship committee to everyone who has been responsible for doing anything with the church, thank you, because it certainly has been much appreciated. And I think the modern word now is pivot, and that has certainly happened for a lot of things in the church. So take care, stay healthy, and hopefully sometime soon we'll be back at Knox. I would like to move that this report be adopted as read, and it has been seconded by Sally Pullen.
Hello everyone, I am Joyce Hogendorn, convener of the Knox Discipleship Committee. No one will deny that 2020 was a year of life-changing events for us all and new challenges everywhere. Our home groups were stopped and our library was closed, but our Discipleship Committee, we managed to continue to meet bi-monthly via the Zoom. We maintained our kids zone by emailing parents the curriculum weekly, and our youth were also able to continue to meet online together. As a committee, we will continue to adapt as needed to meet our mandate for 2021. At this time, I would like to move to accept our 2020 report as printed, and this is seconded by Jennifer Donato. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ann Thompson. I am the convener for the Fellowship Committee of Knox Church. The Fellowship Committee oversees the community life of the church, membership, assimilation, pastoral care, hospitality, and fellowship. It is an umbrella committee comprised of several teams, including pastoral care, communications, C-Circle, KPW, men's breakfast, memory matters, SOS, and accessibility. While many of the activities of fellowship were put on hold mid-March of 2020, a few teams did continue. From January to March and October to December, the accessibility team was there to help. Despite good or inclement weather, volunteers were at the curb greeting and assisting those arriving by car. An attendant was also at the lift to assist the operation. Gail Meek continued throughout the year to coordinate the work of pastoral care. At Christmas and Easter, inspirational cards and plants were delivered to many shut-ins. Currently, there are 32 shut-ins who regularly receive cards and phone calls. Gail also coordinates funeral receptions, which have been temporarily suspended until we are clear of COVID. There is currently a need for volunteers for pastoral care. If you are interested in volunteering, please contact Gail Meek. On Sundays, members enjoy companionship and friendly association with others during coffee hour after church. Since the church has been closed, we have lost this important form of communication. However, it will resume whenever possible. It may be a little different, as there will probably be new protocols in place to keep everyone safe and healthy. Men's breakfast, organized by Murray Louderman, normally meets every second Saturday at 8:30. This, we hope, will also return after COVID. KPW, Knox Presbyterian Women, furthers the fellowship among the women of Knox Church and assists in the work of the church and the community. Under the leadership of Minzina Louderman, the annual general meeting of KPW was held in January 2020. However, the planning meeting in August was canceled, as was the potluck dinner in May and the fall fair. All women of Knox are welcome to participate and enjoy the fellowship once church resumes. SOS. Thanks to Sylvia Congram, who prepares and delivers meals to those who may be recovering from an illness or hospital stay. Please contact Sylvia if you know of anyone in need. C-Circle, led by Margaret McClory, met in February and March. February was the Valentine's Lunch. March, the speaker was the Warehouse of Hope. The Shaw Show, Gypsy, and the June lunch at the Portaloosa Yacht Club were cancelled due to COVID. Again, all ladies are welcome to C-Circle. I move the report be accepted as prepared. Seconder, Minzina Louderman.
My name is Paul Marquis, and I am the convener of the Mission Committee here at Knox Church. Helping Hands for a Healing World. That best sums up the year that the Mission Committee had in 2020. But we didn't do it alone. You were there with us, meeting some challenges that we didn't think we would actually be able to complete. On a global level, we had a rough start at the beginning for the Lenten project, but for Advent, we did an excellent job raising over $1,700 for relief aid in Lebanon. On a local level, our local missions, Bethlehem Place and Hospice Niagara, benefited from your generosity as we raised almost $1,700 for them. The Out of the Coal Committee continued living as an example of Jesus Christ in our community, servicing the most vulnerable, although it had to be done in a modified format. On a national level, our Presbyterian sharing goal for 2020 was $34,000. We raised that this year for the first time in many years. What does all this mean? It means that as a congregation, when faced with difficult challenges, we rise to the occasion, and we did that in 2020. The Mission Committee looks forward to 2021 as we continue to be serving Jesus Christ within our congregation, our community, and the world at large. Thank you. I move with a second from Jane Pierre that the Mission Committee report be approved as presented.
Good day, my name is Kelly Neal and I'm the chair of the management team. Welcome members of Knox to our virtual AGM. It is with great sadness that we must reflect on a year that has been shrouded by a global pandemic that has ultimately impacted every aspect of life, including our church. While we were not able to meet in person, the church still required regular maintenance and attention, and we are thankful to our dedicated staff who have been flexible and remained committed to supporting our church community through these challenging times. While some of our proposed projects for 2020 did not come to fruition, we hope that we might be able to address this in the months ahead. Fortunately, we did not face any major repairs or dilemmas, with the exception of a leaky area on the roof, which has been attended to, and we remain high and dry. A special thanks to our custodian, Paul Marcus, who keeps a watchful eye on our building, and with our new minister was able to devise a system that allowed us to provide online services from our sanctuary. Management is happy to report that in light of these challenging times, we have successfully observed our operating budget, and may I thank all of you for your ongoing financial support and entrusting us with overseeing the finances and physical property of Knox. At this time, I move that the management report be adopted and seconded by Mr. Lendielman. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Holderney, the treasurer of the Management Committee. Our 2020 year synopsis, the accumulated surplus from December 31st, 2019 was $23,585. Going ahead, the revenue for 2020 was $2,009,147. Expenses for 2020, $180,677, which left us with an accumulated surplus of $52,055. I'm looking to move this report, and Wayne Holderney is seconding it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Herb Holderney. I was chairman of the investment committee for a number of years, since inception, in fact. It's quite a long time ago. I worked with Agnes Hewitt for a number of years, and from there the committee grew. We started with 3 people, then it developed into 9 people at this point in time, And we used to just meet at Frank's office to start with. Then he went to his boardroom, and from there we progressed on to the church boardroom. So in all, it's been a very nice journey for me. I've been with it since it started, and at this time I'm planning on stepping down from the committee. So in this creates a chance for someone else to move on up and take the position of the chair of the investment committee. I've spent a number of years on it, and I would like to thank all the people that I have worked with and who are on the committee at this point in time. I've enjoyed working with them, and it's been a pleasure, my pleasure, to be there. This year has been a bad year. It has been ups and downs and around. The COVID has really given us an awful lot of problems. But I can see light at the end of the tunnel. It's looking better. The vaccines are coming on now. The stock market is starting to level off. And I'm seeing a gradual increase in it every day. Some days there's big increases, but they always drop back down. But there is a gradual increase in the stock market, and I think our investments are in great hands when we got them in RBC. Frank Cooper is doing a great job with them. I have to thank him for his excellent job of managing our investments. And Gary is doing a great job in looking after our books for us. Wonderful job. There's a lot of work done in that. And I would just, in closing, I would just like to thank the session for leaving me in this position for a number of years with no problems, and I enjoyed it. I've learned from it. And once again, I'd like to thank all that I have worked with. Ministers, board members, and session members. It's been my pleasure over the years. Thank you kindly. Okay, I would just like to add that I am leaving this committee this year at the end of the annual meeting, and after polling all the committee, Tom McGrain has accepted the position of new chair. I'm sure Tom will serve you well. He's well known around the church. He's on the session, but he is an accountant, and I think he'll fit in very well with the investment committee. I move the report that has been presented today, and Tom McBrain seconds it.
My name is Gary Rosenberger, and I prepare the financial statements for the church, both monthly for the management committee and for session, as well as the annual statements, which I'm going to bring your attention to. The first page I'd like you to take a look at is page number 17, and it gives my little letter and Linda Kerr, who is the auditor of the church, her report. And unfortunately, Linda will no longer be able to do the auditing duties. So if any of you would like to volunteer for being the church auditor, please make your name known to someone in the office or to Kelly Neal, management convener. So if you'll turn to page 18, which is the balance sheet of the general fund, I draw your attention to the cash in the checking account of $33,635. We are in a very healthy cash position at the end of December going into the year 2021. Due from the capital fund, $29,000. And that occurs because the capital fund does not have a bank account of its own. And the general fund has to pay the capital fund expenses. So the capital fund generally is short on its donations. So I would mention that it would be appreciated if you could direct some of your givings to the capital fund to try and bring that up to the target. The good news is we have a surplus. If you go down to the bottom of the numbers on that page, we have a total surplus accumulated of all years of $52,055. That is something that we haven't had for many, many years. We had a carry forward surplus of 23,000, and the surplus for the year is 28,000, total of 52,000. So that is very good news indeed. If you'll turn to page 19, we have the general fund statement of revenue and expenditures. As you can see, our donations for the year were 164,362 as compared to 186,000. Actually, I thought they would be down much more than that, but the congregation has generously given during the year, and the donations are in good shape there considering the year that we've had. The investment income is down because the investments did lose value and they are actually coming back up, but we have less income. I'll draw your attention to the bottom of the page. We have a line called COVID-19 wage subsidy, $36,000. So during the year, the government offered wage subsidies to help organizations pay their wages. We received $36,000 up to the end of December. Sales tax recovered, that is basically a portion of the HST that we pay out. There were a few corrections to previous year's returns, so some of that $18,000 represents corrections. It does not include any HST on restoration costs. That has been given and included in the restoration projects statements. I'll turn the page to page 20, please. You can see there that the restoration investments still amount to $32,407, and that is held in trust by RBC Dominion Securities. And there are a few costs left in the restoration project, and that would appear to be sufficient to cover those. The land, building, and windows, the assets, fixed assets, there is a note which will further explain those, note 1. And the memorial gift account has $32,223 in its bank account. Because of the healthy financial situation that the general fund was in, it repaid any monies that were owing that had been borrowed from the memorial gift account. If you turn to page 21, please. That is a statement of revenue and expenditures for the capital fund and the memorial gift. The restoration project donations during the year were $78,225, and there was $1,198 of investment income earned. Major repairs, with some painting done, boiler repairs, and repairs to the back memorial doors from the break-in, and that amounted to $5,648. Purchase of new assets, there was a hot water tank purchased, a computer, and some live streaming equipment. In the memorial gift account, equipment purchases, there were 2 iron flower planters, and they were in memory of Margaret Stewart. Please turn the page to 22. We are now into the notes to the financial statements. Note 1 gives some information regarding the church property. That value that we show on the statements was simply an estimate at that point in time in 2007. That does not mean that the church is worth that. It could be worth more or less. And hopefully it never has to be sold, but we will never know what the value, actual value of the church is unless it has been sold at some point in time. Memorial gift investments, note 2. Memorial gift donations, note 3. Gives the names of the people in which there were donations given in memory of. And what doesn't show there is that there is an annual donation to the general fund received from the estate of George and Doris Shepherd. Turn the page to 23. Note 4. These are what I call trust funds. And these are funds that are received and dispersed or committed on behalf of the following activities. Presbyterian sharing, $34,398. That exceeded the target of $34,000, which is the first year for many years that Presbyterian sharing, the actual givings, exceeded what we had committed to. You can see World Service, Mission, local missions, and Out of the Cold for a total of $42,377. Note 5 includes the special offerings. And aside from the normal offerings from year to year, you can see we received $1,000 from the Presbyterian of Niagara for assistance during the COVID pandemic. In conclusion, I would like to commend the congregation for their financial support of the general fund during this very unusual year. Also, the Government of Canada needs to be thanked for helping subsidize the wages that were paid to our staff. Thanks to Sarah and Carolyn, whose work in getting me the information necessary to complete the reports helped me get them done in a timely fashion. If you have any questions, please email the church office and Sarah will forward these questions to me and I will answer them if I'm able to. I would like to make a motion that the financial reports be approved, and this motion has been seconded by Herb Haldernay. Thank you.
Members of the congregation, I'm pleased to report that the restoration project of Knox Church was completed in November of 2020, a long way from the initial start date of a meeting of the Board of Managers in March of 2018. Our first committee meeting was in June of 2018, and it's been an interesting and a great experience, and there's been great people involved in various aspects of the work. The minor seasonal work needs to be done, and that will be completed next June. The team thanks the church custodian Paul Marquis for his assistance throughout the project, and our accountant Gary Rosenberger for his efforts in keeping track of our receipts and expenditures. And I'm pleased to report that the project is completed, all the bills are in, and all the bills have been paid. And in that regard, I want to thank all members of the congregation who contributed to the cost of the project. And I want to thank particularly our major donor for his great contribution to the completion of this project. And finally, I also want to acknowledge the team members. Peggy Boyle, Paul Hicks, Herb Haldernay, Stuart Lynch, who was an early member in 2018 and he retired in 2019, Tom McBrain, Dave Monroe, Lorna Schatz, our recording secretary Elaine Eros, and our ex officio members, Reverend Dr. Clyde Irvine, from 2018 until his retirement, and our current minister, Reverend Ken McQuarrie, from 2020 to date. It was a great team effort, and I think the results have been recognized by many people, both inside this congregation and in the community. And so I move, seconded by Dave Monroe, that the report of the Knox Church Restoration Project Committee be approved.
I am now looking to do the proposed budget for 2021. I actually ask everybody to take a look at it. It is divided into sections. We are looking at proposed expenditures for the year of $283,000. And we're looking at an estimated revenue of $283,000, leaving us with zero deficit. Hopefully we can actually maintain that. The only change from last year over this year is that last year we did not have ministers' payroll in there. So this year we do. So we're very, very close to what we were in 2019, actually a little under. I am moving that we accept the proposed budget for 2021. I have a seconder of Wayne Holderney.
For the annual appointment of Knox trustees, at this time, the Knox trustees, Herb Holderney and Dr. Norris Walker, have agreed to continue serving for this year 2021. Marilyn Clark has agreed to fill the vacancy left due to the loss of Don Henderson. I would like to express our thanks and appreciation for the many years of dedicated service to this congregation that the trustees have provided. I move, seconded by Peggy Boyle, to appoint Herbert Holderney, Dr. Norris Walker, and Marilyn Clark as Knox trustees for the year 2021. It is said that the trustee is the pen of the congregation, so we are in good hands.